Hello, my craft friends! Are you ready to DIY craft 3 high-quality Christmas decor projects that you'll be proud to display in your home for years to come? Or better yet, give as gifts this holiday season? If so, you've arrived at the right video. So let's go ahead and get to crafting. Okay, for this project, we're going to be using this wood round, and I purchased it from Home Depot, but you can also purchase them at Lowe's, and I think they're like $8 or $9, and they're called a bull nose or a rounded nose, round edge wood. And what I'm going to be doing with mine is I'm going to be staining it completely front and back with this gel stain from Hobby Lobby. So let me go ahead and get that stained, and then we'll continue on with our project. All right, now we have it stained on both sides. I think it looks so pretty. Now we're going to take some wide painter's tape and we're going to cover the surface of our wood round. Okay, once we have our painter's tape covering the surface of our wood round, we're going to take a smaller circle, and I'm going to be using this plate because it's going to work out perfectly. We're going to center our plate or our round object. We're going to take and measure, making sure that it's the equal distance, and this looks like it is. Then we're going to take an X-Acto knife or a utility knife and run it around the outside of our inner circle. And then once we have that done, you'll see that outer circle cut. You're going to then peel away the outside tape, leaving the inner circle of tape. Now that we have our excess tape removed, we'll have this perfect circle in the middle of our wood round. Now, what we're going to do is we want to add a pattern around the stained part of our wood round. And to do that, I'm going to take some of this smaller painter's tape and we're going to lay it down in horizontal stripes, making sure to measure it with a piece of the tape, making sure to space it properly. Also, when you're laying the painter's tape down on top of the other painter's tape, you don't have to press it in. Just make sure it's pressed in on the wood part alone. Now that we have that done, we have our stripes on, we're going to dry brush our stripes along the top side of our wood round, making sure not to get the edges as best as possible. All right, then you'll have something that looks like this. Now what we're going to do for our next step is we're going to remove the painter's tape stripes. And we're going to hold on to that painter's tape because we're going to be using it later in the project. And sometimes that's a little tricky, so if it becomes jumbled up, no worries, we'll just use new tape. Then once we have those stripes on, we're going to spin our wood disc and do the same exact process. Tape, then the spacer tape, then a piece of tape, spacer tape, all the way down to the bottom. And then your project will look like this. And we're going to do the same process. We're going to take a brush and dry brush the white stripes. Okay, that looks perfect. Now we're going to spin it back around, leaving the tape on, And we're going to put more tape down in the original stripes that we painted. See how it's lighter here and darker? We're going to put the tape over the lighter stripe. All right, now your project will look like this, where everything is covered with the tape except for these white squares. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our paint and we're going to paint those in to where they're totally opaque and you can't see the wood through the paint. All right, now that we have our squares painted in, our next step is just to remove the tape, and this is the really fun part. And once the tape is removed, it reveals this beautiful, like, gingham pattern, which prepares it for our next step. I'm going to take this stencil I purchased from Walmart, and it's in their hobby craft section, and I'm just going to stencil using the outer wreath part of the stencil. But first, we need to tape down our stencil so it doesn't move when we're stenciling. And I just do this with painter's tape. And I'm going to be doing it in a beautiful, beautiful forest green. And once you have it stenciled and the paint dried just a little bit, we're going to remove our painter's tape very gently and then reveal our stenciled pattern. And I think it looks beautiful. What do you guys think? I love how this turned out so far. But now I'm going to add a little more character to mine, and I'm going to add some red on the berries. There's a few little berries on this stencil, and I'm just going to add a little bit of red to the top of them, just kind of sporadically around the wreath design. Then we're left with this beautiful kind of holly Christmas-inspired design, but it could be used for every day as well. Now that we have that done, our paint has all dried. I'm going to take mine outside and I'm going to give it 3 good coats of the Rust-Oleum clear enamel. All right, so we've got it sprayed. We did front and back. And now that it's sprayed and it's dried, we are going to add some handles to what we're going to make into a tray. Now, I'm going to leave mine plain. I made another one for myself and I put like a monogram in the center. But this one, for you guys, I'm just going to leave plain. And we're going to be adding some of these beautiful handles I purchased from Hobby Lobby. And they were half off. So they were only $2.50 a piece. So we're going to add those. Okay, and then we have this beautiful serving tray. How cute is that? I love this. Okay, my craft friends, what did you think of DIY number 1? I think it turned out so beautiful, and who wouldn't want this for a gift? I know I would. Anyway, now we're going to continue on to our next DIY, and this one turned out so cute, I couldn't wait to share it with you guys. So let's get to crafting. All right, now for this DIY, we're going to be using a set of those trees that we purchased the other day. If you missed that video, I'll link it down below where we got all of our supplies, but these set of trees were a part of that video. And what we're going to do, well, what I'm going to do is you can do whatever you like with them, but look at how cute they are, and they just fit perfectly together, and they make these cute little wooden trees. So what I'm going to do with mine is I'm going to take them outside, and I am going to spray mine with this matte Spanish moss. All right, so now we have those painted, and we have put on some gloves. we're going to take some antique gold rub and buff, and we are going to hit the edges of our trees. I think I'm going to run it along the bottom too, just for fun. Now, I think that I'm going to do is I'm going to take and maybe run it along the edge or this part of the tree, the flat part. Let's see how that looks. It might look pretty cute actually. Oh, it does look kind of pretty, doesn't it? So let's go ahead and do that. We'll get a little more rub and buff. Now that we have our rub and buff on them, they've dried, we can put them together. And then we have these beautiful trees. All right, my craft friends, what did you think of DIY number 2? I love how these little trees turned out. I was so happy with how they turned out. I couldn't believe it. I actually surprised myself with this DIY because I kind of had it in mind of what I wanted to do, but I wasn't 100% sure how it would look in the finished product. And I think it turned out so gorgeous with that rub and buff gold. And the best part about them is when you're done, you fold them up. They take up very little room and you store them away until next season. Well, now we've done our beautiful tray. We've made our beautiful little forest. Now we're going to continue on to DIY number 3. And this one is so adorable. I couldn't wait to share it with you guys. So let's get to crafting. All right, now for this DIY, we're going to be using that kit we bought the other week, maybe what was it, a couple weeks ago, and it's the wood reindeer, and we're going to take them out, and there's 2 reindeer. One is 10 inches and the other is 15 inches tall, and they're adorable actually. And I think what I'm going to do with mine, and then we have the large deer and the little deer pieces, and they, you know how they go together like that. Well, I'm going to take mine outside. I'm going to leave these in here because I want to keep those the natural wood color that they are. And I'm going to take my body and my legs outside, and I'm going to paint them with this white Rust-Oleum flat white paint. So let me go ahead and do that. All right, well, those are drying. We're going to move on, and we are going to stain the antlers. And I'm going to stain them in a brown. I think I'm going to use the, let's see, should I use the oak since I have it open? Yeah, let's go ahead and stain them in this oak stain. And I'm just going to put it right here where I had the other stain. And we're going to take our little makeup sponge. All right, so I got the antlers stained on both sides, and then I have my pieces painted, and look at how beautiful they are when you paint them. You can still see the wood grain and everything. I think they turned out so cute. These are really fun. Now what I want to do is add some more detail to the white pieces, and I'm undecided between like a brown stain along the edges and then drug into the deer body and legs, or I'm thinking maybe some antique gold rub and buff, or maybe both. I don't know. I'm undecided. Well, you know what? Let's just see how it goes. Maybe we'll start small. We'll start on the little deer legs, and we'll see how that goes, and then we'll continue on with the process once we figure it out. So let me get some gloves on. Okay, we have our gloves on, and I'm first going to see what happens with the gel. I'm going to put a little bit down here. We're going to take our... I think I'm going to just do the gold because the stain really doesn't stick that well. So let's go ahead and move on to the gold. We'll try the gold rub and buff, and I'm going to be using the antique gold. That's really my favorite. I've tried the others, but they're kind of a little too, the gold and the silver. Now I haven't tried the copper, which I'm kind of curious to try the copper because I think I would like the copper. But let's go ahead and try this. Now we're going to try this on the brown. Let's see what happens. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, that looks so pretty. Don't you think? See that difference? Okay, so that's what we're going to do. And I'm going to make mine pretty solid on the side to kind of fill in that particle board wood that the deer is made of. Bring it up to the edge. See the difference there? I think that's so pretty. All right, so let me go ahead and get that done. And let's see, first off, let's see if it's gonna drag properly and look good. So what I would do is I would just take and go like this, like I did the trees. And I would just lightly drag it into the edge, like that. See how it's lightly like that? I don't know, should I go deeper? I guess you can always do more. You can't take it off, you know what I mean? So let's go ahead and just try it and see where we get. Okay, so let me get this finished and then I'll be right back because I'm sure you don't want to watch me do the rub and buff to all of these pieces. How boring. All right, I'll see you in just a minute. So now we're going to put our deer together. And there's two sets of legs. One, the taller leg goes in the back. And then the littler leg goes in the front. You push those together. Like, look at how cute it is. Oh, it's so cute. And then you put the little antlers on. Look at, I think it's so cute. So let's put our big one together. I might have to push you guys out a little bit because it's hard to see everything. Yeah, let me do that. Let me adjust the camera so you guys can see a little bit more larger. So let me go ahead and do that. Now you can see them a little bit better since I pulled the camera out. Look at how cute they are. I think they turned out very cute. Now, you can decorate them however you like. You can tie something around the neck. You could do whatever. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and make a little bow for both sides of their neck. Actually, maybe not both sides because I'm going to be facing them under my tree. And so I really just need, I think maybe I'll put just a bow around the big one. So let's go ahead and do that. And to do that, I'm going to make mine removable. So I'm going to take some of this green. Let's move them over here. Whoops, his legs fell off. There we go. And I'm going to take some of this greenery and we're going to snip it. Probably don't need that much, but we'll leave it anyway. Put that over there. And then I'm going to take some of this ribbon, and I think I'm going to use, I think I will use this actually. Yeah, I think I will. Hold on just a second. I'm going to use some of this ribbon and just make a simple bow, and I'm just going to attach it to this, and then that way I can put it right around his neck. So let me go ahead and get the bow made. Okay, so we have our bow made, and I'm just going to take some hot glue and on the back of our bow. I actually should probably get a piece of felt maybe. Nah, we'll just do this. We'll just put it like right in the center. Hold it on there. Alright, so now we have our little bow, and we're just going to tie it around our reindeer's neck. Oh my gosh, he looks so cute already. And then you just take the back side and you'll just twist it. Now, if you wanted a double side, if it's gonna say it's gonna be seen from both sides, you could always put a bow over here once you twist your wire and just attach it to the wire, so that way you could just snip it when you want to pack it away. But anyways, I think it looks so cute. So now we're just gonna trim this. Okay, and then we have our cute little deer. Oh no, he's so cute. What do you guys think? I love him. All right, my craft friends, that wraps it up for these 3 DIYs. And what did you think of the deer set? I think they turned out so cute, and I think they're gonna go perfect with the little trees. Let me see if I can set this up like a little vignette on my tray here, and show you exactly what I kind of have in mind. And I think that they look so adorable. Let me see. Even on the tray, I think they look so cute. What do you guys think? Anyway, if you haven't yet subscribed, please go ahead and do so, because we'd love to have you here at Sweet Bay Lane. And also, we don't want you to miss any of the upcoming fun this holiday season. I'm also going to start putting out, I think, 2 videos a week, because I have so many ideas in my head that I never can have enough time to get them out before the holidays. So I'm going to try and do 2 videos a week for you guys. And like I said, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do so. Also, don't forget to hit the like button, because that helps share it with the algorithms of YouTube, and that lets them know, hey, everyone likes this video, so let's share it with other crafters. Because can you have too many craft friends? I don't think you can. Well, until next time, make sure and keep it crafty.